Sigma Male Diaries Podcast. Let's get on with it, y'all.
Let's go.
We can relax, have fun, get a good laugh, get information, and enjoy the show.
I mean to do what it do, baby. Sigma Male.
Hey everyone, good day. This is Nigel McKnight, and I'm the host of Sigma Male Diary. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have an interesting topic, I do believe. But first, I'd like to give everyone a great thank you for supporting me and following me and showing me some love and wisdom. Also, thanks for the following and subscribing of my YouTube platforms and my podcast platforms as well. Because I do have 2 YouTube channels. Well, actually 3. But Sigma Male Diaries is my active one, other than my Repercussions Apparel LLC for my merchandise and my products and stuff like that. Today I want to discuss the breakup of Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey after being together for like a year and a half or so. And I was checking some stuff out on people.com on the breakup and how they both supposedly, are completely heartbroken and stuff like that. And they mentioned, the good times that they had. Michael B. Jordan, he's an actor and stuff like that, and he's 35. And Harvey, she's 25. But Harvey, she dated quite a few guys in the industry. They call her Industry 304 and stuff like that. And Hot Girl and City Girl and all this other stuff. And I'm just sitting back thinking, what would drive a man to, or even a woman, I'm not even going to take sides here, to look past, like red flags and stuff like that, certain signs that would tell you that other person just isn't ready to commit, at least not to you. And there's a lot of people who would go above and beyond and try to convince another person that I'm right for you, and I'm just sitting here thinking back like, okay, here this guy goes, he thinks about marrying this woman, and he's doing all these things, and he's putting everything out there on social media, whereas she's keeping her lifestyle kind of like private, and she just posting pics just of herself. And it comes to the point where when a guy tells a woman, and vice versa, but this is mainly about a guy though, how a good guy, I always tell my followers and listeners that the good guys always finish last, like they always lose until they become the fuck boys, the bad boys, you know what I mean? Then they start being a certain type of way and they actually attract more women for some reason. It's just like that's what it is. They like that bad boy persona. But still, I'm sitting here wondering, like, what was going through his mind throughout the course of the relationship, whereas he made it clear that he wanted a long-term relationship, term marriage, right? Lori Harvey, she has her own thing going on as well. She's starting to push her brand and stuff like that. She's making major moves now, and she's moving up, as far as the industry goes, and whatever she's involved in with her line, her product availability, whatever she has. But it's to the point whereas now I have options. I don't just have to stick around. I mean, that's how he may look at it. He sat there and invested almost like 18 months of his time. I mean, she done the same thing, but initially she's supposed to have taken a trip to France and all this other stuff, and when she returned back, they had some type of falling out and everything, and they supposedly had smoothed everything out. They made everything public December, January of this past year, and now here it is. They're discussing a breakup now. It's like pretty much over, and this is the whole point where I try to explain to a lot of guys, because I do advocate for men. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. It's not always. Yeah, it's okay to have a gorgeous woman, a beautiful woman, and stuff like that. A lot of these guys wouldn't have the type of women, far as beauty and all this other stuff. They consider them gorgeous or whatnot, if they didn't have the money they have. So you have to look at that rule number one. That's just what it is. But why would you allow yourself to be like walked over and stepped on and being disrespected just because you want to just stick around in the hopes of this woman, what she's supposed to change for you? When she's looking at other men as options, she's been around other guys, multiple men. You're just another guy. And that's just how it goes, right? That's just how, if they have options, right, you're just another guy. I'm 25. Why should I marry you right now? Right? I don't want to get married. And that's what happens too. You know what I mean? They start to boss up and they start to come up in the ladder, and they figures is growing and stuff like that. And now they look at you as, I definitely don't need you now.
Here we go.
They always look at it as if I can do better than you. They have a good guy, but for some reason now they got that guy. Now in their mind, I can do better. If I got him, then I definitely can do better. It just goes downhill from there, because they're getting older, getting ran through each and every time they think I can get better. I can get a better one. Okay, yeah, I can get this one. And them dudes just want to just keep you on your back. So fellas, man, sometimes it's best to, man, date down in looks, man, and date up in cooperation, man. They don't always have to be these so-called 9s and 10s, especially if they wear makeup and weave and eyelashes and shit, man. It is what it is. Why would you even put more value to a woman than what she's really worth on the sexual marketplace? And there's no disrespect. I'm not bashing women. I'm just saying this is what us men would talk about. Because I am talking to the fellas, but if you choose to listen, thank you. But what I'm saying is this, and I'll keep it respectful, but it is going to be what it's going to be, though. Women have standards, man, to the point whereas a man has to be damn near perfect and spectacular. Why should a man build himself into the mold of a person's imagination? Why isn't a man accepted for who he is if he allows you in his life, or if he enters your life? What is this thing where you women call this so-called potential when that man is already established in what he's doing? Why would you want to put more on his plate? Is it because the friends you have, they boyfriends is doing this, they doing that, they making this type of amount or this amount of money? Whatever the case is, they doing it. Are you trying to compete to see if your man could be or do better than their man? Like what is it though? What type of lifestyle are you trying to get this man to finance? Because at the end of the day, man, listen, 2 incomes is always better than 1.
Yo, Franco.
And sometimes you just gotta accept it for what it is. If that man been living his life before he met you, he been working a certain type of job, and you see other people making moves or doing whatever the case is, and you looking at him like, well, why aren't you doing something? Listen, that man don't have to live up to your expectations. Pick another man. It's very simple. Pick another man. Don't get one thinking, number one, you're not the leader, first and foremost. And why would a man get on a woman's program when he's the leader anyway? That seems like that's some type of beta male syndrome. Or that's kind of simpish. Because men lead. There's no compromising with that unless he has a woman that he feels, okay, listen, she has that nourishment, she has that support, and I respect my wife's opinion or advice, whatever the case is. That's one thing. That's when you have a respectful woman, though. When you have an assertive woman. To a degree, whereas she like, listen, baby, this is what I'm seeing. Because sometimes a lot of us men, we do run off of pride and ego, and we will overlook certain shit because we got our mind so focused on trying to keep this maintained or established, and we're trying to structure this way over here. So it won't compromise what we have going over here. We have a lot of shit that we have to do. We consistently and constantly putting ourselves last. And at least if we have a wife or a girlfriend, expected to be fiance turned wife, whatever, we should be able to come first, at least from her. And I literally mean put that man literally before you. listen, if you want that man to lead, provide, and protect, you have to give that man everything you got. And that's why I try to express this point to a lot of men and women, but women primarily. Listen, when you hit the dating market and you're looking for this certain type of guy, you want him to be successful. And just think about what I'm. Listen, you want him to be. You want him to be. You want right him to be a whole nother person, to live up to the expectations of something that was put in your mind. Either you was told these things, maybe you've seen these things, and whatever that woman received from that man was able to provide that. But not, all men aren't the same. Our purpose isn't the same. We think of our legacy differently. I mean, seriously, like, it's not about trying to get, like, what you call a so-called good man. Listen, a leader, provider, and protector is all you need. And I'm being honest. A leader, provider, and a protector, if you really just be realistic about this, it's all you need. He don't got to be 6 feet. He don't have to look a certain type of way. He don't have to have an extra, amount of dollars. Just respect that man. It is just that simple. You know how many people are mad and upset because they're alone? They're single, and they put this bullshit out here, this ideology, this notion, this falsehood, this self-truth that they're single by choice. I'm going to tell you something. And this is coming from, men as well. Listen. Women are created, that it's just her nature to want companionship. As men, obviously it's our nature, for a woman, obviously, we want sex. So it's not no such thing as by choice. And I'm going to tell you this. 51% of the African American community, right, from the men from the ages of 18 to 30 are still virgins, right? You just heard what I said. 18%, 51% of the men in the African American community are still virgins from the ages of 18 to 30. 54% of those men in the same age group, 18 to 30, are sexless and childless. So that means that women are having sex with the same men. You understand what I'm saying if you think about it? So, how is it that a woman would even feel she have options when they are literally sharing? Think about it. If you live in a certain hood, they have this guy they all call a man. Think about it. This dude is like sleeping with 20 to 30 different women. And it's not too many other men that woman would sleep with if she don't feel that other man can't out-provide or outperform that other guy. Or at least he has to be on the same level so she won't feel like what she's settling. But that's just sex. That's just fun. But hey, that's what they say. I'm going to have fun throughout all my 20s. But look, you sometimes end up a single mom. Shit happens. Things, you know what I mean. Women are, violated and stuff. Some of them are forced. I understand. But to just really think about it though, then, now you hitting 30, 33, whatever the case is. We call it the danger zone. Now you got like 3 or 4 different kids, 3 or 4 different baby daddies, but you still say, I got it. You got what? You don't have a ring? You still looking for a man, a stepdad? You just still looking for help? Some women, I'm just going to keep it 100. You still looking for help? And then you have these standards. You have the nerve to ask a man, what are you bringing to the table? You and 4 other kids. That man come into your life, that's 5 against 1. And then you have a nerve to say you want a man that don't have any kids. You don't want to deal with no baby drama, but this man got to deal with 4 other men in his relationship. Are you willing to take you and your 4 kids and move into that man's house? There's going to be some type of fear, some type of scarcity, and some type of lack of trust. You're not going to take your 4. You're not going to just, leave yours with yours. And that's the problem. That's the problem right there. But that man's supposed to sacrifice how many years of his life for you and your 4 kids? If you think about this rationally, if a kid would cost $150,000 throughout the course of your life by the age of 18, and think about college, that's $150,000 per child. That woman has $600,000 of debt, of liability, of a man that earned, that has cash. There's no DSS, there's no welfare, there's no SSI, there's no retirement. Let's just say that their mother's working and she's not getting anything, no child support. That's just she picked guys that wasn't men that should have been fathers or weren't ready to be fathers. But you got this man now, he working hard, got his life together, got businesses and all that stuff. And now a man, today, he can date a woman with kids. And don't you know, if he with that woman for a certain amount of time and he take on the father role of those children, he spends time with them, taking the games and throw their birthday parties and buy their school clothes and take them on trips, Once they break up, don't you know that woman can make that man pay child support for her 4 kids? And he don't have nothing to do with those kids' DNA at all, period, none. Now, what happened with his legacy? Now he's going to be in debt. That business he making $500,000 a year. Could you imagine child support for 4 children that aren't even yours, man? You just met this woman like a year ago, 13 months ago, whatever the case is, man. And men are still willing to lose, and that's why it doesn't make any sense, because women don't respect their help. Like, they don't respect their help, man. They respect the money. And we know it's true. Because you hear a lot of these single moms say, well, shit, what can he do for me? I got 4. That's the first thing they say. What can he do for me? I got 4 kids. Girl, he got to be getting it. And that's the problem. But you're not putting that expectation on their fathers. And if you are, then you got to try a whole lot harder. And don't expect another man to come in with limited disciplinaries. I mean, you only can say so much. I mean, if you and him have a dispute, then now it's, like I said, it's 5 against 1 man in your house. I mean, come on, man. It's not that. It's, for me, I don't think that's worth the sacrifice or worth the risk. As a successful man myself, I mean, I'm just keeping it 100. There is no way that I will put myself in harm's way. I mean, yeah, they have some good dudes, some simps, some beta males out there. Those are good dudes, like we said, they're good guys. But those dudes aren't desired until the woman is damn near 35, 40 years old and she having it rough, man. And I'm just going to be honest, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not bashing women, but this is a men's channel, man. I advocate for men. And like I said, this is the truth. And a lot of black women, I could say black women, I'm a black man, so it is what it is, get upset when black men have the nerve in their minds, the audacity in their minds. When we say something, they feel as if we're not supposed to say it. But yet they want us to lead, protect, and provide. How does that work, man? The double standards? Yo, that shit dead. That's irrational, delusional, and that's insane. For you to expect a man to come into your life and you put all these things in your mind, he has to be this and be whatever, and all a man asks is for a woman to be nurturing, feminine, fair, beautiful, cooperative, submissive, and willing. I mean, those are things that's not hard to do or hard to come by. Not the way women outnumber men. Do you know how many beautiful women it is on this planet? But listen, 90% of women worldwide want men earning over 6 figures, though. And these men, they don't even, I said that 90% of women, all women, want men that's earning 6 figures or more. They want successful, financially successful men. But just think about it. What is that man getting in return? What did you have to bring to his table? Like, he's not moving into your shit. I mean, this is a provider marriage, right? So why would you even look at a man like you got 3, like he's supposed to just move into your shit? See, that's the problem. They so used to these dudes, man, that's just, shacking up in their shit, getting their house keys, driving their cars and doing whatever, man. But listen, these are provider males. These are self-sufficient, independent men that don't need not a motherfucking thing you got. Nothing at all. And if they just choose to sleep with you, then they just choose to sleep with you. It's 12-1. It's like, shit, women are shit. They around. But a lot of men still settle. Women don't settle. Men settle. You can't possibly settle without having options. I mean, if you have the options, you got men literally bowing down in front of his family, your friends, his friends, asking you to marry him, whether you say yes or no. If that's not happening when people can see the shit, because you have so many women that would say, oh, we was at home, or oh, we was here and there, or it wasn't nobody, it was just us. Oh, did that engagement really happen? I mean, you're a woman, that will be one, if you want to be a wife, right, and he's willing to marry you, he's happy, you're happy, that's something that's going to be shown to it, like close family and friends. If they got, if normally that's how it's done, unless they both introverted people and they just don't care about displaying much of what they're doing to the world, then that's fine. Okay, but with those options though, you don't have those hand and foot like that. Men is not kicking your door down, throwing rings on your finger. Those dudes that's in your inbox, those fuck buddies, those side dudes, or they want to make you a side chick. Those dudes don't want to marry you. They're not trying to take on that type of responsibility. They hustling and doing whatever they got to do because hard working men is not going to sacrifice none of that. Their time is very valuable. That is too much for a man to invest to lose in the end. It's not going to happen, man. Listen, it's not going to happen. Simple as that. But I want to ask one of you, ladies and gentlemen out there, though, right? Today, right? Modern women, modern men. Okay, let's say how modern, women they prefer traditional men. And these modern men, these guys, modern men, how the women are, these guys are, this role reversal shit is crazy. This whole, and I'm being honest, man, like this whole beta male simp stuff. I'm not knocking anybody hustle, but that is very, like, that shit is sad because women are so confused on like what a man, they say what, in their mind what a man is, what a man want, what he should be, but you have to listen to the men that you want that's telling you who they are. We tell you who we are, we lead though, so there's no you telling us no, we want this from you. No. You get on our program. That's how it goes. It's not misogynistic. It's not being narcissistic. If a man lead, then you follow him. You're on his program. There's no equality. There's no partnership. There's none of this motherfucking power couple shit. None of that. We're not equals. When you're dealing with a man, you're dealing with a man. I'm not talking about a grown man that's just going to be really, and able to just sit there and compromise 24/7. That's not going to happen. You're on his program. You know what it is that man want, right? You was raised to know what that man want, what he needs, right? You were raised to put him first, right? So what's all this other stuff about, oh, I want. Listen, if you want to be a wife, then you know what a husband is. Get it together. Stop being selfish, getting a husband, but you still want more shit on top of that. Greed is real, man. That's a very bad thing. And then people jealous, they competitive, they want about the wrong shit. But ladies and gentlemen, today in modern times, why do you think relationships and marriages are so far off, like so far gone compared to, let's say, our great grandparents? Okay, I'm 45, right? So let's go back to 1955, going into like up towards 1960. Where do you guys think, what do you think happened that caused the dramatic change as far as the divorce rates and stuff like that? Let's just say like human rights, all this stuff. Do you feel as if college, like as far as education goes, affirmative action with job opportunities, even businesses, serial entrepreneurs and stuff like that. Women are, they have these things now. So do you think that now today, more or less that because women feel as if they have their degrees, they have good paying jobs, they have more, opportunity, obviously, that women did in the 50s and 60s. Do you think that contributed to the role, whereas women, they feel as if all that makes them more valuable? Let's just say not just to society, but just in general to a man to say, well, I have this, I have that. What do you have to bring to the table when the man is the leader, he's the provider? Because most men will pick women that are more cooperative to allow them to lead and not emasculate them, though. So most successful men do not deal with like independent, financially successful women. That's like a woman that calls herself a boss chick or whatever. That's a woman who's so-called a alpha chick, man. Come on. It's not going to be two alphas, two nothing. Either, you know what I'm saying? We masculine. We femininity. That's all we deal with. We lead. You follow. We provide. You nurture us. Support us and feed our ego, stuff like that, man. Come on. But women, they want this whole equality thing. And I understand that with businesses and jobs and, that type of stuff, but not in a relationship or a marriage. And it's to the point to where it's so selective and conditional to where a woman would be like, well, he didn't put a ring on my finger, so I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that till he put a ring on it. So that's why it's important, fellas, when you go out here and you vet a woman, make sure she's a wife before the marriage, man. That's important. Make sure she's a wife before the marriage. So, in today's time, as far as the martyred woman and the martyred man, why do you think the relationships are so short-lived compared to our grandparents or great-grandparents, traditional marriages and stuff like that? If anybody want to have a conversation on, I'm not that mean, y'all. It's not that bad. Just take a deep breath and just press the button. It's not like I'm gonna chop you down. You know what I mean? I just look mean, and I'm just direct, very stern. I just don't, zero tolerance for the bullshit. So I can understand I can be somewhat intimidating or unapproachable, but it's nothing like that. I interact differently when people join my talk because it's not just me talking; it's someone else that's actually, getting involved in the conversation. So I'm quite open-minded. For those who have listened to my previous talks, I just took a couple of days off because I had a death in the family. So, I'm just dealing with a lot of stuff like that too, and running my business and stuff. But I try to take time out to keep everybody, educated. They throw all the stuff in there about, why specifically African Americans, why we have it so tough compared to other races and cultures and all this other stuff. And I sit back, I can see what they're trying to get to, but it's more to it than just that. It's just that we need our people who are more willing to follow. It's just that simple. Like we had in Black Wall Street, stuff like that. Get together, and this is not about competing with one another, or somebody ain't good enough for you for this or that and the third. Like separating yourself based on education and monetary gain and all this other stuff is crazy, because at the end of the day, you're still a person. You're still going to be ranked a judge whether you like it or not. That's just the reality. So what's the difference in the attitudes from the women and the men today compared to Generation X? I'm just gonna leave me hanging like that. All right. Well, I tell you guys like this, right? Initially, as I started the conversation between Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey, right? The little breakup they had where he wanted her to basically marry him. And he started off and, made it quite clear at some point he was ready to take it to the next level. In the midst of that, she's got...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that ends the show. And this is your host, Nigel McKnight of Sigma Male Diaries. Some of you might like what I say, but then again, some of you might not. But I don't give a fuck. And I really don't. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, y'all stay safe and be blessed. Then amen.